My name is Pramit, and I'm from High on Films. And first of all, I want to tell you that I really, really loved your performance. And my first question to you is that since there is very less footage about Joe Colombo on the internet and in general, I wanted to understand that where did you draw your performance from in terms of your voice and in terms of your physique and how he held himself in his personal spaces?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, there are a few clips on the internet of him talking and behaving, but at the end of the day, I think I shifted from that somewhere in the 3 or 4 month period that we had, from that over to the story that we were telling, and how possibly the way the character was written was behaving, and it was just something that I think I just sort of worked on until I felt a modicum of confidence, and also just dialogues with the directors and the producers, and we had a great. I mean, the other thing is we had a great rehearsal period, which was invaluable for about 2 weeks beforehand, getting ready.
And your performance, since your story is kind of cut together with Mike, the Godfather story, so I kind of saw shades of Michael and Vito in terms of his hesitancy and in terms of his arc as well. So was that intentional or just how Joe was?
There were definitely conversations about that. It was kind of written. There were analogies drawn through actual events that Joe Colombo was involved in, and the story or the fiction that Mario Puzo had written, and I think that was just part of them structuring the overall arc of what we did with the offer.
If I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead already. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Look, you and me got a problem.
It's about my movie.
I think it's best if you hear me out first.
Sure.
Here's the problem. You want to make a movie that's going to make my people look like animals. And that ain't going to happen. So as a courtesy, I brought you here to ask you a question, man to man. What do you like more, musicals or westerns?
Fred Astaire versus John Wayne.
Right. And post doing the offer and after doing the offer, like, has your opinion about The Godfather changed?
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah. There were so many different factors, and Al Ruddy is a producer on this as well, and so it really is, a lot of it is straight from the horse's mouth, really, and so it was just intriguing. But the thing that I loved about it most really was the almost from a nostalgic perspective of how committed somebody could be and to what they're doing in their life. This is really a different era, and it's hard to consider, even, I guess, at this point in this day and age of cell phones and social media and all that there wasn't any, if you wanted to go talk to somebody or even have a meeting, it was like a phone call sometimes for several days, or you just show up at their house and it was actually just like, yeah, come in and let's talk about it, whatever that was. But facing that, on top of all the other impossibilities that people are familiar with in getting a film made, on top of going head to head with a mafia boss, it's just it's a testament to his character, Al Ruddy, and the man he is.
The first thing that I wanted to tell you is that I absolutely loved your performances and the show as well. And the first question that I wanted to ask is that to the both of you, is that the personalities of Mario Puzo and Francis Ford Coppola exist vividly in the public memory. So how did you ensure that they feel relatable and human in their personal spaces?
You want to go, Danny? Go ahead, buddy.
No, go ahead, pal.
Well, I was going to say, I just from my perspective, I think that, Puzo was a little, I think a little more sort of soft spoken, than my portrayal. I think I did sort of a variation on him. You know, he was a little more introverted with the public, wasn't, you know what I mean? So, you know, so as far as that goes, you know, it's not fully accurate because I just, you know, gave it a little more of myself within it, you know what I mean? Within his beautiful sort of quietness that I think is what's out there. But I think that the volume came out of him in a different way. And that came out when he was with his family. He was also someone who was, by the way, literally would sit there while people had an entire conversation and say nothing. And then at the very end, he would say one tiny thing and the room would just crumble in laughter or in thought. You know what I mean? I mean, the guy could really just say things in such a succinct way that would just plow a room right down, you know? So he was interesting in that way. But I think I played a little more volume to him, you know, because we were kind of in this other energy, you know, artistic taffy.
And then for
please take it
Francis,
away.
Yeah, I tried to focus on this documentary called The Rain People, which was the making of The Rain People by George Lucas. And it shows Francis without his beard and all his anxiety and really trying to prove himself. And it was really a great window into his soul for that moment before making The Godfather, because I wanted to show people, you know, you're introduced to a Francis that's really trying to prove himself. And then by the end, you see the more confident Francis that we know today. So that's what I was focusing on.
We cut to Michael. He kills Sollozzo. He kills McCluskey. But then he holds on to the gun. He doesn't let it drop. He hangs on for too long. He does not listen to Clemenza. Why? Why aren't you listening to Clemenza, Michael? Why are you hesitating in the tension? The tension is building. Why? Why? We're wondering, why are you not listening to Clemenza, Michael? And just when we can't take it anymore, that's when he lets it fall. And we're okay again. We know that Michael's gonna be fine. Why is this scene beautiful? Because it's not just the death of Sollozzo and McCluskey, it's the death of who Michael could have been. He goes all the way from being the total outsider of his family, and the transformation to becoming the leader of the Corleone family has begun right here in this scene.
Say all of that again.
and what were some of the most startling revelations about The Godfather that you had while making the offer?
I thought it was just incredible how like every detail was just a war to be fought, you know, it was just a constant battle for every actor, you know, for the director, you know, politically people were gunning for it. It was just like, it's a miracle that it got made. So, you know.
And made so well, you know, that's the thing. And like we had said before, you know, it's like without all of that turmoil, it probably wouldn't have been a very important movie.
Yeah.
You know, wouldn't have been such an important film. But I think that unbelievable path that every single person involved had to walk down and navigate boulder after boulder turned out to, you know, give us this unbelievable film, this beautiful piece of art that we watch with the same joy to this day. 50 years later, you know, you're showing it to people and that haven't seen it, and they go, it's this is genius. I can't believe I haven't seen it yet, or you know, up to this point, you know. So it's pretty exciting. My kid's 12. He's dying to see it. I won't let him see it, but I let him see it. Here's the kicker. My wife tells me, she goes, "Really? You don't want him to see it?" And then I go, "Yeah, but I showed him when Sonny beats up Carlo." She goes, you show him the scene where Sonny beats the shit out of Carlo, but you're worried about him watching the film? He's like, "Yeah, he's watched it like 10 times and he loves it." He's like, "I got to see the rest of it." And I can't wait to watch it through his eyes. You know, it's a beautiful thing to keep watching.
Evans, what do you see in this book? I'll tell you what I see. I see money. This picture can make Paramount #1, Charlie. I feel it. I feel it. My kishkas are screaming. That book's all anyone's talking about. Now you get the right hands at the wheel, and this can become a cultural phenomenon. The likes we've never seen before, like Rosemary's Baby, but bigger.
$1 million return on an investment of 15 grand? We're not going to get a better offer.
It's only $1 million. Thank you, Charlie.
First of all, I want to let you know that I absolutely love the show and your performances.
Thanks.
And I wanted to know that how did you find the balance between your interpretation of the personal, vulnerable side of Charlie and Robert, respectively, and their eccentric aspects that were known more publicly?
Yeah, it's a great question. We had amazing scripts to begin with, and then there's some source material, definitely on Robert, and some with Charlie on the great internet. And then it was a question of really trying to find the nuance in every scene, and then going for it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit of a risk sometimes, and perhaps not the most subtle performance I've ever given personally, but I hope that it carries you along.
Well,
in
that's
the adventure.
not true, actually. Because, and I'll say that because I've seen you give bigger performances. No, the point is the fact that they were larger than life characters, and we've been put in situations where there's an extraordinary amount of anger dispersed at a certain moment. And I would say, but with it, we cover the gamut, and within your performance, there are extraordinary moments of utter clarity and massive sensitivity. And that's why some of the stuff you do with Juno is so wonderfully touching.
Yeah, it was a real pleasure to do.
Yeah, we lucked out big time on this. But it's one of the best. When I first read the script, I was like, I'm gonna watch this either way, but it'll be double joy if I'm allowed to be involved in it.
So, and people had a variety of opinions after watching The Godfather. So, what's one opinion that you want the audiences to walk away with after watching The Offer?
Personally, I want them to know about Al's story. He, was the producer, and up to he's 91 now. He's kept a lot of these secrets to himself, and he's finally said, "Hey, I want to share this with you." And I really hope that we've honored Al and all those that were involved in the original production with what we've done.
I think that's the great thing about it putting him front and center is that we all know about The Godfather, and when it's talked about, people go, "Oh, it's Ford Coppola, it's Pacino, it's Brando, it's Pacino, it's Jimmy, it's all those guys." And then he's the quiet man who, yes, he won an Oscar, but most people on the street, they wouldn't know who he was. And I guarantee you, he should go down and will go down as one of the greatest physical producers, because when you watch this 10-part series, as he said, every day on The Godfather was the worst day of my life, because anything that could go wrong went wrong, and he didn't shy from it. He just made all those problems disappear by putting his life on the line, quite literally. So it's a real testament to that.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you best for the show.
Thank you so much.